Thank you for joining the Woman You Need to Know show. My name is Gail Watson. I'm founder and CEO of Women Speakers Association, a place that is dedicated to promoting and sharing the gifted messages of women in over 120 countries. Today, I have the proud honor of introducing to you a woman that you do need to get to know. This woman is extraordinary. She's an active entrepreneur running multiple businesses. She's a speaker, international speaker. She's a two-time author with multiple ebooks. She has shaped the lives of more than 100,000 leaders worldwide. She has worked with people from all walks of life and profession. She has enhanced leadership capabilities, generating outstanding incomes. She is the go-to name for government conferences, conference planners, corporate multicultural groups, delegates, executives to navigate the change in culture. I would love to introduce you to Pushpa. So welcome, Pushpa, to our show.
Gail, wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you very, very much for having me on your show.
Oh, I love it. I mean, you are a woman in action. You do many things. I know you have, just like any entrepreneur, so all entrepreneurs out there can relate to you, that you have a variety of your talents feeds several businesses. And I know that you have 3 active businesses. And so let's give the viewers an opportunity to get to know you. And please, let's give us an overview of all that you're doing.
Right, thank you. And yes, so at the moment, I have had diverse experience in businesses. And even though when I've had normal job roles, I've always had a business on the side. And that's probably from the age of 18. Currently, I have 3 active organizations. So I have a charity. The charity is actually called the Women's Mentoring Foundation, and that was I was going to say rebirth, but that was actually the birth from my personal experiences. And this year, our main focus is working on prevention. So we have 3 main programs, but we have events throughout the year. And the 3 main programs focus on grief sharing. So whatever trauma, hurting that you have been through, then we start the healing process. The second part is the self-development. Then we start working with your beliefs and your values, your desires and your dreams. And that really is, addressing any limiting beliefs and everything that you have. So continuing the healing process. And the third core program is our self-leadership. I mentioned that we're working on prevention, so prevention of emotional abuse, self-harm, and definitely suicide prevention. The second business, again, this one took birth near enough the same time because I'd been through probably one of the darkest personal challenge of my time just over 2 years ago. And both these organizations grew from that time. So the third is an extension of me, Pushpa Vaghela, and actually the second one is Leadership by Design, and that's focused around personal development, coaching, mentoring, definitely in the self-leadership arena, because I truly believe that if you as an individual become strong in yourself and you have that leadership caliber that's really gone way above the benchmarks that our ancestors have set us, then everything around you will fall into place as well. So that's what that is. And under that banner, I also have my speaking program. So I do a lot of keynote speaking. I do a lot of workshop training and definitely international training. So for example, I've just finished 6 weeks with a community in Nepal, and they wanted training on the corporate side, the leadership side, and definitely everything that impacts a medical professional, especially with the stress that they've had with the recent pandemic. So, we were working on burnout. How do you promote your brand name? How do you become that entrepreneur within the organization? And another program I've just finished with was with over 1,000 pastors and ministers in India that were literally going out there and holding leadership roles in spaces where government and other community organizations were not reaching. And the third organization that I'm in has definitely taken me out of my comfort zone. It's an area where I never thought I would have explored. And when I took out the industry side of it, because over the last couple of years, I've realized that it's not just the products and services that we share with people. We're actually sharing opportunity, but more so what we're doing is sharing our knowledge, our experience and education, and giving people the opportunity. And that's one of the things that really got me out of the sales side, because I was always telling myself, I'm not a salesperson, I'm not a marketing person. And as long as I was doing that, I was actually denying people. So you could say I was a little selfish in sharing what could really change their lives. So it is in the health and beauty industry, and it supports what I do with the Women's Mentoring Foundation in helping others live improved quality lives. And it definitely supports me in the business of the personal development, entrepreneurial, corporate. And the information and the message that I share with people comes at a deeper level when I'm also speaking. So that third organization, my mission there is to be in this world, helping people see and feel and experience opportunities and all around them, and transform those into results.
I love that. Now, you are no stranger to challenging times. You're someone that can get knocked down and you come right back up again. And I think you're a phenomenal example and demonstration to what it takes to be, to really put in those strong leadership core values. You mentioned really briefly that the last 2 years, I mean, well, we know we've had a global crisis on our hands, but you also had a personal crisis that really took you down. Can you share us a little bit about that?
Yes, for sure. And you're right. Throughout my lifetime, from the age when my first leadership role was at the age of 5 in school, and then a few years later, I lost my mom. So since the age of 10, life has been up and down, up and down. And I don't think, no matter what the situation was, I never once broke down, even though, I was left with nothing, or that I was back to square one. But the incident that happened just over 2 years ago, it was with my partner, and we were in business together. I do blame myself because I didn't have boundaries, and I don't know whether this is a wrong thing or a right thing, but I absolutely trusted him, and I should have kept my eyes open. Now, I hold no blame on anybody. What I really love about the fact is that it grew me to another level, an area that I never ever thought that I would ever be able, not able, but would visit in this lifetime. And everything that's happened to me, Gail, I know it's happened for a reason. And I know that I've got to take it up a notch level because there's somebody else in this world that's going through it. So everything in life that has happened, I've turned it into education and training and sharing. And at that time, I was diagnosed with an illness, literally told if I didn't get my act together, I'd have 6 months to live. The partner that I was with with had an affair with my sales agent, and honestly, it was a blessing. I was so grateful that it happened because it was a cue I needed to walk away from there. However, during that time, I was left homeless. I was left in debt, and obviously my health was compromised. So in any way, shape, or form, you think physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, socially, I came crashing. And that probably lasted about 2 hours before I picked myself up. And even though I was reaching out to professionals, I was burnt there. I was charged thousands of dollars, and I said, what's going on that even in this day and age, in the Western world that we live in, a woman is facing so many obstacles. and is, you know, finding it difficult to just move on with life. And I'm a pretty resilient person, so that's one time I broke down because I couldn't even begin to imagine how many women were falling through the cracks because of our systems, or because they trust people, or because they're in their most vulnerable and they're being guided to do something. And whether it's right or wrong, absolute having faith in what's being said. So the 6 months went by. I healed. I was in a better place. And that's the time that, because I didn't have a home, I'd go and sit outside the library, use their free internet. And that's where I set up these organizations. And I never stopped working. I volunteered twice a day at the local churches and community projects, offered free counseling, coaching, did my clinical neuropractitioner work, did speaking engagements, not for payment. And definitely they would be giving me food, which was great because at that time I was surviving on $25 every 2 weeks, and all great. And the car that I'd actually left with was involved in a car accident 8 months later. So within 16, 17 months, I lost my life twice. It was a write-off. And, you know, I'd lost the use of my arms, my shoulders, all my ligaments in my legs were damaged, lower back, shoulder back. And the only thing that kept me going through that accident time was that my daughter was getting married in 3 months, and I didn't want that to be compromised in any way, shape, or form. And so, yes, I survived that. And with the car, I thought I had fully owned it. It was a car that we brought in the business, and he told me he'd pay the loan off. But when the accident happened, apparently, no, it hadn't been. So there was still a financial holding on it. So, you know, that was a little bit of a loss. But the gift here is that car that was completely mangled, the insurance company said, we can't do anything with it. You have to take it back. And it was a write-off. I donated it to a training organization and said, look, I don't know where I can put this, but you're more than welcome to use it as spare parts or whatever the students want, you know, for their benefit, their studies. These students rebuilt that car over 10 months and gave it back to me last February. And yeah, that, you know, all these little things, these gifts that come out of things that you really think there's nothing or it's impossible, and possibility happened. And as you mentioned, we've reached thousands of people across the world. And I'm not, you know, COVID was a benefit in the fact that everything that we offered online was available globally. It wasn't that, you know, I have my face-to-face events and I have a limited audience. This way we reached a lot of people, and I know we lost a lot of people as well with the work that they were doing, but we continued to make the difference.
Pushpa, and I know people are jaws are hitting the floor as they watch. You have a phenomenal story, a story that we could easily just want to, that would take anybody down, take the strongest a person down. But yet you rise up, and you kept saying a common, there was a word that you kept saying with every point that was, oh, and this happened, and this happened. And you said, and the gift was this, and the gift was that. Everything that has happened, every challenge that was thrown at you became a gift. And then you kept sharing it forward, just like the car. The car is a beautiful, you know, representation of, well, here, you can have it for parts, people learn from it, that's great. But when they took all those broken pieces, put them back together again, then they gave them back. It really follows through on that. What we put into life, um, we get back.
That's
So you're just a beautiful soul. So tell me, who is it that should work with you? Who is it that should get connected to you?
And you know, Gail, it's interesting you say that. Like, I have 9 brothers, and I was always a boy. Like, my 7 brothers are older than me, 2 are younger. And when mom died, I took over the household. My youngest brother was only 6. And I took over that household, but I was very much a boy. Like, you know, I'd really knocked my brothers down. It didn't even take 2 seconds. So what's really interesting is that I'm very much connected to my femininity. And, I would never say that I'm only going to target this cultural group or this gender. However, I feel that my true purpose and calling in most of the things that I'm doing is women. And, because I've seen the women and the fear that they hold on to, and fear we absolutely need fear, because that's what's going to help us climb those steps and help us to go up. Your mountain's not going to just be a slope. You go up, and then you've got a platform which you need to travel, and then you go up. So it's the females and the women that I'm really targeting, and especially in the business industry, because a lot of women, the ones that we have definitely connected with, they've either lost their jobs, or their businesses have been compromised, and emotionally, mentally, there is something there. Like, the world doesn't know what COVID has actually done to us, because the maximum hit has not happened, and it's going to happen. And I want to help women be prepared now. So even with the business industry on the health side of things, my vision there is that I'm in the business of having females win in sales, fall in love with their customers, and definitely make more money than they've ever dreamt of. And here's the crux of it, is that to look after themselves with the same ferocity that they've always taken care of everybody else.
Wow. I want to jump into your speaking because you are definitely, while we need to get to know you as women entrepreneurs and business executives, you're obviously someone meant for that main stage out there, and you've spoke in several different countries. And looking at your website, I'm just going to give a shout out to your website that www.leadershipbydesign.com.au. I know on your website your story is there, but also you have different programs and things like that. You'll MC events. You're very, very active in that speaking community. So what are the type, if I'm listening right now and I'm thinking, wow, what a story, I need to get her up in front of my groups, in front of my teams, what kind of stages are you looking for right now?
So currently, I have stages that I'm speaking on for women's events. So we've got Crown Leadership Program that I'm chairing next week. We've got 8 great speakers, myself included, and corporate. So I train a lot of entrepreneurs and corporate side of things on team leadership. And one of like with leaders, yes, we have a generic idea of what leaders do, but with my leadership training, I've taken it to a deeper level. So it's become more holistic, more spiritual in a sense, because I truly believe that business is not just business. Business is a spiritual game. And that, when we come from the heart and the soul, it's a different level, because then you're living in a fulfilling life. So, I've had speaking engagements where I've integrated leadership renunciation with your normal Western leadership training, or I've just done developing the leader within. And with any training, we all interpret it in a different way. And I truly believe that when I'm in front of an audience, I could have the script and I could have, my keynote, or whether it's a training for a whole day. That's a guideline for me, but usually it turns out to be something different as well, because I'll feel and connect with the audience. What do they actually need? And I believe that's a gift that a lot of speakers do have, because they can adapt. It's not just me regurgitating what I have in a book. And yeah, women audiences have been really, been giving great feedback. I've done a lot of work with youth, definitely with youth juvenile. They've never had a qualification, where just having a 1-hour speaking session with me, they've gone on to do a certification course. So the inspiration and influencing definitely comes. And as you mentioned, even sharing my story, whether it's, all genders, I believe that every speaker can adapt to meeting the needs of the people in front. And again, it comes down to breaking that cycle of the negative thoughts, the negative thinking, or the doubt, or the thinking that I want to be like that person, and really taking a step back and thinking, well, what type of person do I want to be? So, yes, there's comparison, competition is good, but you've been gifted. Everybody's been gifted in such a beautiful, unique way. How can we unleash that so that you can be your true, authentic self? And I know that's gone off on a bit of a tangent, but it literally is know thyself.
I love that. You're just, you know what I really enjoy is that you allow us when we hear your stories and, you know, by having the courage and for you to persevere through your these personal struggles and challenges, you really allow us that we eh, and empower us that we can reimagine the boundaries of what is possible. And I really love that about you. So I want to tap a little, just maybe tap into your heart because it is so big and it is so giving. And to conclude with a piece of it for everybody, is there something that's speaking to you right now, or maybe words of wisdom, or just a thought that's coming to you right now that you would like to share?
Yes, for sure. So I'm a person of faith. You know, I don't practice any specific faith, and I've developed leaders based on biblical principles, based on Buddhism, based on Sikhism. So different cultures have reached out and said, "Can you teach us leadership around this?" And the one message that I truly got for a lot of people, which I do share, is that be the salt and light in the world, be the flavor and the light that the world needs, and definitely transformational, because transformation means that you won't go back. The change is happening and you're holding it because it's for good and for the right reasons.
I love that. I just wrote that down. Be the salt and light that the world needs. And we certainly need that as we've witnessed our worlds change. And I
Yes.
think you're right that we are just coming into a time where we're really, really going to need more of that.
Mm,
And I love that you bring that out in people. And not only that, that you are that beacon of hope if we feel that we've taken on too much or too much has come at us and there's no way out of that. Whether we're a leader, whether we're a person going about our, you know, as an entrepreneurial person doing our thing out there, you really give us that hope to be um, that light that we can shine again if we, you know. So
yes.
I want to really thank you for sharing your gifts. You are truly a woman that we need to know. And I encourage everybody who's watching right now, if you feel that spark inside you, if you feel that you need to connect with Pushpa, she's an open book, walks her talk. Um, and here's her website again. It's leadershipbydesign.com.au. Feel free to connect with her. Go get copies of her different books, get to know her. And I want to thank you for joining us. Pushpa, I thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're amazing. All right. And thank you for everybody joining us today. And we look forward to connecting with you again soon. Thank you.